Good day, everyone, and welcome to my research proposal presentation entitled The Impact of Project Managers' Adaptive Leadership Training on Team Members' Motivation and Job Attitude, a research proposal. My name is Kyle Kendrick, and today we will be walking through the what and the why and the overall proposal in a research subject that I believe to be important to the progression of an emerging leadership style and the benefits it presents to project leaders and managers. Now, leadership has been researched for decades, most of us know, but there's never really been a fully agreed upon definition or vocabulary for what really makes a good leader. There's been many attempts to categorize leadership, such as transformational leadership, transactional, situational leadership, but there's also been some more modern approaches, such as servant leadership, or today's topic, which is adaptive leadership. The adaptive leadership framework was established by Ronald Heifetz in the 1960s, but due to the growing complexity and globalization of today's organizations, it's really just become prominent in research areas. And really the model that was based on is for leaders to navigate through certain challenges and changes in situations that really don't have a clear solution. I think a pretty prominent example right now would be that of the pandemic that the world has gone through and is still going through, which abrupted companies all over the world. And really, no one had a clear solution on how to manage at that time. But what they found out was there were emerging leaders that possessed a lot of the adaptive leadership framework styles and practices that wound up leading in their area of expertise. And really what the overall goal of adaptive leadership is to be able to embrace change and to be able to help others do the same. Now, the why of this research proposal is that right now empirical research is very scarce because it is fairly modern and just kind of budding area of research. One of the areas that is scarce in training, very scarce in training actually, is the effectiveness of the training in itself for adaptive leaders and the adaptive leadership framework. There's really only two well-known programs right now that offer this type of training. One is by Ronald Heifetz at the University at Harvard in itself. That'll cost you upwards of $10,000, $11,000 in order to take that training. And there's also another company that's starting to come out that's starting to base it off of that same framework. But there really hasn't been any empirical research done on any of this at this time. The other area of research that's really scarce right now is the fields outside of healthcare and education, where this was kind of built on in the first place. One of the main studies in the past 20 years or so was through a healthcare organization that needed to do a top-down training and migration to a more adaptive framework as part of a cultural change. And so really that's been one of the main areas right now is healthcare and education for university professors and moving to remote and online learning, but really there hasn't been anything in the technology and the project management aspect of it, which of course we know technology and project management are built on change. Change is inevitable, it's ongoing, it's constant, and for it to be left out really we need a deeper look. The other area is the impact on areas other than performance. There's been a lot of the studies so far that is how has adaptive leadership been able to have a direct effect on performance, indirect effect on performance, but really nothing has been looked at in terms of the employee or the member motivation and the job attitudes that lead to this performance. So the next part of that is, so what? Well, as we said, information technology and project management are constantly changing. Project managers are constantly finding themselves in a state of flux where they don't have technical answers that you can just bring in an expert that's great at some technical aspect of it, but they need more non-technical leadership skills to come in and finding ways to train them on this to progress projects and organizations forward. And really the biblical foundation on this can be found in 2 Timothy 2:2, where it states, "And what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." And really, that's the foundation of adaptive leadership in itself, is that leaders learn how to change, they learn how to navigate through these difficult situations, but even more so than that, they teach their followers and they teach their team members to be able to do the same thing. And so it's kind of an ongoing cycle of the leader learns how to go through all of these approaches to change and challenges and difficult situations, but then they're also having their members and their team members learn how to do the same thing. And so it's really set up on a trickle-down structure of learning to do it yourself, teaching others to do the same, and then motivating them and having them do the same down the line for others. So the problem statement and the hypothesis here is that IT companies have recently become more project-oriented. They're understanding that they need for more project-oriented mindsets to be able to come up with ways to move forward and have successful projects. But a lot of new companies that are moving into this framework are not seeing a lot of success, and they're recognizing a new era of project leadership and non-technical leadership skills. As we said earlier, it was a lot of the non-technical leadership skills that project managers who had successful projects and results overlapped mightily with HiFIT's steps through adaptive leadership framework. And also change in IT projects is inevitable and often unplanned. Like we said, there was a study done that looked at planned and unplanned organizational changes and how they affected the mindsets and the attitudes toward readiness for change and the ability to change. And it was very different between planned and unplanned changes within organizations. And you can't always train project leaders and managers beforehand to go through these long, expensive training programs, because you don't always know that this is going to take place, and they need to develop the skills as they go. And also, performance is a direct result of employee job attitudes. And with that, job attitude strength is an indicator of that performance. So it's not just that they have a good attitude or poor attitude, but it's along that spectrum of the stronger their job attitude, such as job satisfaction, organizational commitment, career development, the stronger those are, they have a more positive impact on performance. So just to express the hypothesis verbatim, it is the training of project managers in adaptive leadership practices amid a time of significant change will have a direct positive effect on employees' job attitude strength, work motivation, and motivation to lead others, which again is exactly the basis for what adaptive leadership tries to accomplish. So there you have it. I'm very excited to hear everyone's opinions and advice and any areas for improvement and any questions, comments, or concerns. I will leave this, I will post the PowerPoint slides as well, so you can see the references for all of the background information and literature review. And everyone have a great day, and God bless. Thank you.